Hello, can you hear me? You can see me. Good, good. I want to leave an impression. Okay, you've probably already detected from my accent that I'm not from the northwest. You've probably got a couple of questions already. One of them is, why am I dressed like I am? Do we have any football supporters in here? Whose colours are these?
Norwich.
Whose?
Norwich.
Norwich indeed. Well, hate to disappoint you, that's not my club. This was actually, this is a tribute to my late mother, who was a great Norwich fan. I have to admit that I'm an Ipswich fan. Shame. I feel ashamed. We're going down to the First Division. And tomorrow is our last game where we play in the Championship against Leeds, so I shall be there. We have some Leeds supporters in here. But the reason I'm here is because I care about the Northwest. Now, it may seem very strange that I have a southern accent, and I'm one of those southern softies, I guess you could say. But I'm actually not. I'm quite a hard, aggressive businessman, but I have a big heart. Everything I tell you now will be off the cuff, and it will be from the heart. And it's how I feel, and how I think every single one of you feel after watching the antics of Parliament. It's an absolute disgrace. I'll give you a little bit about my background. I come from a very humble background, one of 7 children. 3 of my sisters are nurses. I was actually at a year old, I was in a caravan in a field. I spent a year or 2 there until the roof started leaking, and Mum and Dad managed to find that we could get a council house. We thought we'd struck gold, as all 7 children lived in that council house, but what a fantastic time we had. I saw everything. I saw Margaret Thatcher give my parents the right to buy their council house. I was hugely, hugely proud that that's what the Conservatives gave my parents. And for that reason, I became a Conservative voter. All of my family, all 6 brothers and sisters and my parents were Labour. So you can imagine I was pretty well outnumbered right the way through. But it didn't change how we were. We'd sit at the breakfast table, sit at dinner, and we'd discuss stuff, and they couldn't get their head around why I was a Conservative. I have to say now, I really do wonder why I was a Conservative. I watched my parents go out religiously to vote. Out they go, down the council estate, hand in hand, wind, rain, sun, whatever the conditions, they made sure they went out and voted. And they went out and voted because they actually believed it meant something, that their vote counted. Okay, I went out and cast a vote the other way to cancel them out. I said, why don't each of us not go? And then just send Dad down out in the rain. But they insisted. They insisted that they would go and vote, and it meant a huge amount to them. I now am absolutely disgusted and horrified to think that were these dirty tricks going on all this time, over all these years, were these dirty deals in the back room being done in Parliament? I believe they were. But I think for the first time, they've now been exposed. Thank you for your applause. It means a lot to me. I'm not a politician. I hope that come 23rd of May, I may well be, even if it is for a short time in the European Parliament. But I'll just get to why I was proud to represent the Northwest. I've been coming up here for 46 years. I started at my company as an apprentice engineer, 16 years old. I left school with one qualification in maths, and that was because I played for the school football team and I got a very serious knee injury, and I was on crutches and in plaster, and I couldn't do my exams, which I thought fantastic. I hated school with a vengeance. I was a kid that wanted to be out there. I was blackcurrant picking, potato picking, peas, you name it, I picked it. My parents brought me up with a work ethic, and that's what I've had ever. 3 paper rounds teaches you a lot. One in the morning, one in the evening, and a Sunday one where you can't even carry the bag and your shoulders all cut, and it's like, geez. But you have, I'm a real person, and like I say, I'm not a politician, but I had to get involved. There was no longer could I stand by and watch and see ordinary people, see my sisters who, I have to say, they all voted Remain. And I've had so many arguments with them. One of my sisters, she's the cleverest one in the family by a mile. Her 2 sons, one's a nuclear physicist, the other is a robotic engineer. Her concerns were they get all this funding into the UK. This is where it all comes through Europe, and they won't have jobs and all the rest. Well, I said to her, I don't buy that argument. For a start, your son's been lecturing in Russia for 2 years. He came back from Russia and he went to Australia for 3 years. So I really didn't buy it. But what really got to me was the fact of the government frightening people. It was absolutely disgraceful. It's wrong and it should never be allowed. I witnessed all the things that the whole world was going to end really if we Brexited. It wasn't going to happen. I think if you can cast your minds back to 1999, and you would remember the year Y2K. What were we told? God alive, I built a bunker at the bottom of the garden. I actually did believe that we were, the whole world was going to end, because that's what we were told. Your kettle won't work, your fridge won't work, missiles will be going off during the night. Everyone was hiding under their beds. I mean, come on. And we've got exactly the same what we're being told now, and it is wrong, and we must not put up with it. We're not fools. The problem we have is career politicians. They really have not experienced life. I came from the council estate and damn proud of it. I've done deals around the world. In fact, 6 weeks ago, I was in America. If I'd have listened to Mr. Obama, I would never have even gone over there. But you know what? They welcome you in America, but they are absolutely dumbfounded over how have you got to this situation you're in now? How have you got there? I'm also with an Australian guy who's going to be meeting me next week in California. And he's already been messaging me. He's sitting at a bar in California saying, where's my wingman? And I said, well, I've got some important things to do. I'll talk to you about it when I get over there. But he's mentioned to me Brexit, and what the hell are you guys doing? I mean, the Australians talk straight, and that's what I admire. It's a pity our politicians didn't talk straight. So all you ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, I can assure you there is absolutely nothing to worry about when we Brexit. I hope you do, because I did, before the referendum, my companies were asked to actually go down and just tell them what I felt and how the company felt about it. A lot of people were running scared. David Cameron was terrifying people with what he was saying, and it wasn't acceptable. Now, I went round to all those companies and I promised them this, and at the time about 450 employees around the country, one actually in the northwest, just outside Manchester in Wilmslow. I have a business. I went round those companies and I told them, you have nothing to fear. I said, if we leave and we vote to leave, there will not be one redundancy in our group, not one. However, I did say, if you choose to remain, it's not in my control how we carry on. So, I've got the nod, I've said enough. I just truly, truly thank you for coming here today. I hope you get out there on the 23rd of May and let's give the government a bloody nose. Thank you, Fylde.